classes I taught was on sharing your testimony. And so part of the class was studying this passage of Scripture from Acts 26 and looking at Paul sharing his testimony as a pattern for the way we share ours. So with that 3-point outline, everyone in the class had to handwrite their testimony or type it out in that outline. Before I met Jesus, when I came to know Jesus, and the difference he's made in my life. And then part of the class was you had to stand up and present that in the final weeks of the class. It was amazing to do that. But let me tell you, a lot of questions arise when you start having to think about your 3 points. So for instance, you see the Apostle Paul, and he was not only persecuting Christians, but maybe even had blood on his hands from being a part of the murder of Christians. And he's struck down on the road to Damascus, and the scales fall from his eyes, and now he's one of the greatest preachers of the gospel who ever lived. That's a radical conversion story. But if you got saved when you were 6, I dare say that's your story. I've been moved by stories of people who were strung out on heroin and smoked pot every day and slept with everything that moved. And all of a sudden, somebody brought them to church or to some discipleship home group. They got gloriously saved, never picked up a joint, never shot up, never slept around again, and they were delivered from all of that. You talk about from darkness to light. It's hard to say that happened to you when you were 10. I hope at least you didn't do all that stuff before you were 10 years old. So there are many people who will say, I just don't feel like my story is that dramatic. I don't have a Damascus Road experience. And what I say back to them is, guess what? Thank God your story is your story. Your salvation testimony is as unique as your fingerprint. Don't compare your testimony to someone else's testimony. Just thank God Jesus saved you. Whether you were 5, 55, or 85, that's your story, nobody else's. So tell your story about knowing Jesus. And then this is a big problem too when people get to point number 2, when I came to know Jesus. That's the second point.